Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever?
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game, Home by Dark. To find out how we generated our story playing the game of Home by Dark, go listen to our episode primer. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Ken Breese, what's up, board ghosts?
And returning.
Zach Norton.
All right, and
Liza Cortright.
previously, we'll kind of go through, let's go through who our characters are and what has
A
happened
lot of
to
crazy
them.
shit's been going down.
Let's start with you, Zach.
Okay, so I am playing Cormac Wainwright, who is a 45-year-old ferry captain at Schaefer's Landing. He's got salt and pepper hair, perpetual whiskers. He's got a wind-blasted skin, along with a lean but muscular physique. And his big revelation that we've had so far is that he is finding hope in the characters that have given him this hope. He wants to protect the secret with them to the best of his ability, and he's starting to put together some of the missing pieces of what may have happened to a loved one from his past.
I'm playing Cormac's protege. I am Bailey Tanwell, a beach bum, ferryman in training, all-around cool dude, but also secretly an orphan and secretly very afraid of growing up and taking responsibility for things. But he has definitely been taking more responsibility as time has gone on, especially since the secret has been revealed and we are sort of committed ourselves to trying to help and protect the secret. He also has his own protege. He calls him his sidekick, which is John's character.
All right, so I'm playing Sawyer Payne. He is a young kid who runs around loitering on the island, hanging out with older people because there are very few kids his age. And he has a strong belief in the power of this woman that they pulled out of the sea, the Selkie, who has saved him and his sister from a watery grave. But it now seems like this storm or whatever is threatening to undo everything.
This
Things
danger.
are falling apart.
It's danger.
And it all started with the coming of the Tridents. But before we get into that,
I'm playing Moira Payne, who is Sawyer's older sister. She's a teenager. She's 16. Kind of before all of this happened, she was kind of surly, couldn't wait to get off the island. But now she's kind of like enamored of the Selkie and is feeling really, really motivated to protect her, partially because she's like kind of majorly crushing on her.
so we are on Schaefer's Landing in Maine. It is the 70s. It's early fall, but it's a very, very stormy
Sure, it's
time.
the most stormy fall we've had in some time.
And that may be
Early fall.
because of our danger, which is the wrath of the sea, which could manifest in swallowing the entirety of the island. Sort of the pursuer in this scenario is the Trident industry and its main man, Theodore Gilman, who is
Dr. Theodore Gilman.
who is part of a group of descendants of Atlantis who are trying to regain some lost glory by achieving their goal of raising Atlantis/Lost Lands using the power of our secret, which is the Selkie, who is a skinwalker that can put on her pelt and become a seal, whose fear is in being controlled. Whoever holds her pelt controls her, and whose ability is to calm the storm, so she can control weather. And she seems to be the only thing standing in the way of the rampaging wrath of the sea. So our locations, we have the West End Boardwalk, which is Boardwalk Westerly, which is sort of the heart of the industry, or heart of the sort of social and public face of the town, which is also about where our ferry lets off that we all sort of work at and loiter about. We've got the Salt House, which is basically a shack where people just kind of hang out. We have the library,
illicit things.
which is a couple rooms with a bunch of books and a crotchety, talkative old proprietor. We have a flare gun asset, a compact mirror asset, a fishing pole, and an inflatable raft. Oh, and also we have one more location that I forgot to mention, which is Eastland, which is a sort of windswept, desolate eastern side of the island that faces the sea. So it's a less inhabited.
When last we left our story, the Chowder Festival was destroyed and everyone had been scattered by what was going on. I'm going to be focusing my scene on the danger, and the question that we have before us is, do we somewhat calm the storm? I will also be using one character point to bring in an inflatable raft to the scene. I am in the scene, Moira's in the scene, and Selkie's in the scene. The three of us are there. I've just inflated this raft, and we sort of climbed into it. We're sort of floating in this sort of like, I guess, sort of mini flood that's sort of happening at this point, like, because there's just water throughout the entire street. So instead of trying to just walk through the water, which is sort of up to our like thighs or knees, as the case may be, we're getting in this inflatable raft. And it's pouring rain and it's windy. Grab you by the shoulder and I shake you and I say, "Is Selkie all right?"
I think so. I think so. She's kind of gone a little strange since all this weather started.
And what does Selkie look like currently?
Selkie was previously in clothes that are kind of like a cobbled together fisherman outfit. You know, she's very petite, very dark-skinned, very aquiline face, and very large dark eyes with very dark hair, as you remember. She is very wide-eyed. She has seen the thing that she is probably designed to stop, whether through, circumstance or ritual. And it's coming to a head. She's seeing the beginning of what could probably be the end.
Selkie, what do we do?
We've got to get her out of here. She looks terrified.
I'm like trying to paddle using like the top of maybe like a cooler that I found like floating by. I'm just sort of like trying to sort of get us going in some direction, but we're just sort of spinning around in circles.
I'm like trying to grab things out of the flood to paddle with. I think I pull up like a ladle and I'm like throwing it back.
Nope.
And finally come up with
Chowder
like a
crock pot
lid.
yeah.
Like a crock pot lid, and I'm like trying to help you.
Selkie, what do we do?
Sisters would help, but sisters are gone. I have to sing.
Well, sing!
Hey, Bailey, it's gonna be okay. She saved us before. She can do it again.
You're right.
I believe it.
You're right. You're right.
I'm giving Bailey a hope card.
So you get 2 points.
So I get 2 more character points.
You're right. You're right. Selkie, I believe too. I know you can do this.
We are not your sisters, but we're with you.
More than that. I need my coat.
Well, can you try
My
without
skin.
the coat? At least just try?
Part of a
Please
ritual?
try. Can you please try?
Selkie, you did it before. When me and Sawyer were in the water, you saved us.
Oh, okay. And with that,
Let's roll.
yeah, she's going to roll. Yes!
That would be a win then.
And I think what this looks like is, Selkie kind of closes her eyes and she lets loose, from the back of her throat, this kind of unearthly, almost siren song, like something that doesn't seem like it could be made with human vocal cords, and yet it seems to harmonize with itself. And it seems to abate the storm somewhat, but then she coughs, and basically she says, "Only fix short time."
That's right. The rain stops. The wind is still blowing very angrily, but it seems to blow out some of the overcast clouds. So sun is starting to twinkle back down a little bit, but everything is sort of soaked and ruined. Definitely this sort of like downtown area where the Chowder Festival was going on is just, underwater, water, flood damage. The sun's back, but it's still super windy. Like all the instruments on the island that are measuring the power of the wind are just going off the charts. It's super windy.
The question we'll have to answer here is, can we regain the Selkie's pelt from Gilman?
Nice.
Oh, do we know? Does he have it?
Well,
he does now.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Sawyer yanks himself out of the storm is starting to abate, but the wind is still whipping.
Yep.
And he pulls himself out of Cormac's arms and starts running towards the boardwalk where he sees the pelt like flying.
Mm-hmm.
And the captain, Cormac, zips after him and is trying to like keep up as he like ducks and weaves through all this debris, and you have to kind of like carefully move a little bit more. So you can't quite catch up with them. You don't have this total advantage, and you both reach the boardwalk about the same time, and there's Gilman clutching the pelt. That it's just sort of like he just snatches it out of the air.
Oh.
And draws it down to him. I will say that as soon as he kind of grabs that thing, that's also about when Selkie, like back in the boat, we don't know this is coughed.
It's
a little
coughed,
bit, like,
exactly.
like her something, and so she doesn't quite know. And then the storm starts to whip and rage again around us.
I'll play this responsibility card for Sawyer.
Yeah, so you'll have to convince me of. Keep me grounded. What do you say?
What was it? No, Sawyer, people like this, they don't respond to threats. They don't respond to, they're not children. They don't think like us. You have to be smarter. You have to outwit them.
We could just have Selkie use her powers.
She's not here. It's going to take you being a man to do this. You're going to have to stand up for what you believe in, and we're going to have to figure this out together.
You're right. And he just clenches his fist and rushes Gilman and tackles them, and they both go hurtling off of the dock into the water.
Sawyer!
And the wind is tearing the waters rushing. So then we'll go to
Row.
Yeah.
Row.
yes. The water is wild, and Gilman basically he shoves me down underwater. But I have I have a hold on the pelt, and an errant wave washes him away from me, and I sink further into the water, clutching the pelt.
There it is.
And just continue sinking down, holding.
I feel like a Trident henchman comes by on a ski-doo and fishes Gilman out of the water.
At which point, you see
the blonde woman in
the blonde,
Natasha.
Yeah, exactly. She's in her wetsuit. Exactly. She's got double fucking spear guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
At which
this is the 70s after all.
Exactly.
And suddenly you see just coming off of a sharp drop, a gray form, in a suit, in an old bedraggled suit and a flailing tie behind him. You see dive and impact right next to Sawyer's sinking body, and you see
end scene.
I think we're gonna fast forward a little bit. We have learned that the Trident Industries has managed to get the pelt, and I think that Moira, being a pretty academic person, would be like, all right, we got to do some recon.
I think we find that out from Selkie. She's like, something's wrong, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is, I think, probably a couple days later.
Even more days later.
No. I mean, after post-Chowder Festival, we've all gone home, dried out our hair.
Okay. Is the storm still going?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Storm of the century.
Yeah, I think it probably has died down, but is not.
Have we seen
gone.
Sawyer since then?
Yes, I think.
You haven't seen Cormac or Sawyer since.
Yeah, right.
I think we're back at home.
Okay, so he got fished out of the water. Yeah. He got by him, possibly, or whatever. Yeah. Very good.
All right.
Sorry, gonna fast forward.
Good.
Here.
No, it's good. Just gonna cover the bases.
And I think that we're gonna do a little bit of recon on Trident Industries.
Who's we?
I want to recruit Cormac for this because he's an adult and I am a 16-year-old girl. I think there's a Trident Industries office in town, not their big canning facility, but just a little front office. And we're gonna go do a little bit of recon there. And I want to.
So what's the yes no?
Do we discover what Trident Industries wants with Selkie? What do they want with her? Do we find that out?
Okay.
And I think I want the mirror. Yeah, I think we probably don't bring Selkie with us. That doesn't seem very sensible. Yeah, and we're stocking caps on. Dressed in all black, probably wetsuits.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is an amphibious assault.
Exactly. So we have kind of gone up to a side door of this office. Wow. Okay, I didn't really think about getting in here. Have you ever picked a lock before, Cormac?
Oh, you'd be surprised at what I've been able to do. And Cormac reaches into his pocket and he grabs a couple of tools and he begins fiddling with the lock. It's an old door. It's just kind of a old side door.
It's probably pretty waterlogged at this point as well.
Yeah, at that point, and kind of takes a look and starts failing with the lockpick. And he goes and he coughs, goes and he knocks in the door.
Yeah, and so I kind of take the mirror and stick it into the room and kind of check corners. I'm okay, it's all clear. Let's go. And I think we kind of sneak through kind of the first room. There just kind of like opens into like a storage room. There's like a bunch of waterlogged printer paper.
3 inches of water at least
Yeah.
on the floor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It smells super gross. We kind of like creep up to the next door, take a listen. There's like a very faint noise. It kind of sounds like someone's left like a radio on, maybe. So we take great pains to kind of move quietly through there. And I think kind of we're walking along and there's like, those big cheesy motivational posters in the hallway, but they have kind of like weird slogans on them, like "Go with the tide" and like
Our time is nigh.
yeah, they're like a little bit apocalyptic. I've never been in an office before, so this doesn't really stick out as weird to me.
At the same time, though, there just seem to be these kind of temples in a lot of the kind of art, kind of reminiscent of Machu Picchu, kind of like just very, kind of stacked rectangles, kind of cubes, and at the same time, they're just decked out with these very ornate statuary. And Cormac's just like, "What is this? This is not normal. I'm a fisherman. I used to be a fisherman, but I've never. I know what an office looks like. This is not it."
I think we kind of go into the main reception area, and there's, of course, a giant aquarium. And there's kind of like a secretary's desk there. And through the aquarium, we can see that there's a meeting going on in the room behind it. And I think we both kind of like duck down under the desk. And as we do that, kind of like a door opens and somebody looks out. So I think we should probably see if we manage to.
All right.
Dang it.
So how does that resolve?
I think what happens is we hear like the door opens and we hear like weird chanting, and I kind of like have the mirror out trying to like look through the door, but someone comes out with a flashlight and it reflects off the mirror.
Oh no.
Somebody sees us, but they're like wearing a weird like fish mask.
Fish mask.
Fish mask.
Sea devils.
Yeah, and I think Cormac, you probably react faster than I do. Grab Moira by the collar.
Yeah, I'm just and we're getting out of here.
Yeah, I'm like running as fast as my asthmatic lungs will take me. I think we managed to get away, but they definitely did see us.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really learn anything except that they're very weird.
Something's off. Something's off.
This is, yeah, I don't think I want to get an office job.
It's for the best. And I think what happens is they know already that we tried to infiltrate. And so they're going to come to us. And I think that this is going to happen at the library. And I think that it's going to include Cormac. And I think I want to pull in another character, actually. I want to pull in
two characters.
Two characters. I think it's going to be Sawyer and Moira. We hightail it back. Well, they're probably going to follow us. We have to find someplace safe.
Well, we could go try and find those weird symbols at the library.
Okay, all right. I don't know what is a good idea anymore. We need to...
Yeah, me neither.
That's fine. You have that friend, don't you? The librarian?
You could say that.
I think he could help us. All right.
I don't know who we can trust, Cormac.
And
we better go. I'm gonna gosh, how do you get in touch? We'll go to the library. I'll call the house.
There we go. All right.
We should have Selkie come with us.
Yeah, so I called Sawyer at our house because our parents work nights.
And what's the question?
Oh, yeah.
Can we discern the weakness of the order of Trident?
Yeah, so I call our house from the library and say, Sawyer, I know it's late. I need you to bring Selkie to the library. Try to stay off the main roads.
Okay. Sure. We'll figure this out. And I
Hey,
go,
stay safe, okay?
yeah. Hey, Selkie, look.
Mm-hmm.
How can we get back to the library? Remember with all the books?
Yes.
But we can't go on the roads.
And she thinks, I think I know a way. A way. Yes. Around. Yes. And what she remembers is that there are these kind of narrow paths that you can drive down to, but you can take on foot and kind of get to the location of the library through a more mountainous path that will take a little bit more time, but it's very, it's very effective in getting there secretly. And she says, I know a way. Secret way. Yes?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Great.
Should we bring this? And I hold up the pelt.
And, her eyes go wide and they flash. She says, yes, bring, yes.
All right. I stuff it under my sweater and off we go into the night.
Yes, and you guys arrive at the library to find us doing research, I assume?
Yeah, we're looking through, we're trying to like place these temples, anything that we saw like before we got kind of kicked out, fish masks, whatever, anything we can think of, anything we could piece together.
Guys, we should see maybe Selkie's like superpowers can help us.
Maybe. I wonder. Hi, Selkie. Hey.
Hello.
Do you, the people who were chasing us when the storm hit, you remember them?
Yes.
Yeah, we tried to find out some stuff about them, and we're not really sure what it is that we found. They had some weird drawings, and I think Moira has probably tried to like sketch some of what they saw. Probably not super well, but decently. And she goes, "Does any of this look familiar?" And they kind of shove some of the books with like the Mayan temple pictures and like weird National Geographics with like fish photos in them that looked vaguely like whatever fish masks they were, like whatever they've been able to cobble together.
I think we do have to roll at this point, don't we? How?
Probability.
Probability is the worst. You know, she's very confused. She looks, not seen this. This is new. This is wrong. It is wrong, but I don't know. I don't know what this is.
Hey, that's okay. It's okay. Thanks.
I think that's when there's kind of an ominous kind of set of footfalls. And I think the librarian walks in with somebody. Someone was looking for you. All right, no. End scene.
So the question is, can the danger be contacted? That will be my scene. I will be.
Danger be contacted.
Can the danger be contacted?
Okay.
The Eastland, where he is. I think it's going to be the Sawyer. No, I think it's going to be you. I think it's going to be Cormac.
Oh, Captain,
Okay.
my
Yeah,
Captain.
so the Captain.
All right.
So, Captain, I think you and I take like a small like rowboat with a little outboard motor on it, and we sort of zip around sort of the shallows of the island. The sea is picking up again. The storm is picking up for sure. It's been raining. It hasn't been squalling, but there's definitely a sense that they could escalate at any moment. You and I get out there, and I'm looking at you, and I say, I think we need to make a sacrifice to the sea. Haven't you ever heard that? Isn't that something that happens? Like,
Yes, but I think that might be a very dangerous game, Bailey. I mean, this is something I've never seen before. I mean,
we have to do something. I mean,
well,
Selkie isn't able to do what she needs to do to finish this, so we need to find a way.
well, what do we have to sacrifice exactly?
I don't know. Like my shoes, maybe?
No.
My hair? I could cut my hair off.
And I'm going to hand Bailey his responsibility card.
As I will hand Captain his hope card.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum,
A
bum.
perfect
There.
storm.
How does it go? What does that mean?
I think
As you both gain 2 points.
Nice.
I think that
Again, yeah, you got it.
I think that when I say that, I just say,
I need you to think harder. Bailey, just wake up out of the fog.
And
I need.
And I say, believe! You must believe, Captain! You must believe in what's going on.
Well, I think a sacrifice. It can be anything that's meaningful. Anything.
This is a stupid idea. We should go back.
No. This is. All roads have led to this. All
Man,
paths.
I hate being out here. My parents died out here. This is the worst. No.
Maybe that's what needs to go. Maybe something that we carry with us.
My folks, they never were found. You know that.
I know, but sometimes that means when you know that the truth hurts, sometimes you have to sacrifice what little hope might remain.
But is that why you have that picture of that woman?
Yes,
Who is she?
my wife.
She's somewhere else?
I don't know.
You don't know where she is?
We came to this place a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago. I was a little older than you were, and I came, I should say, and I met her. She was radiant. She was wonderful. She was different. She was different from anyone else I'd ever met on the island. I was walking along the shore one day, and she just was there. It was almost by magic, like she'd been waiting for me. And we married, and I never really quite understood her. I don't think she ever really quite understood me. About 8 years ago, right around when I started the ferry, she just left. She disappeared. I don't know where she went. I haven't given up hope, but I had to in order to survive.
Well, I haven't given up on my parents either. And with that, I spring up and I start shouting into the air as the wind is hitting me. And I say, "Sea sisters, give me my parents back or leave us alone!" And I will attempt to convince them to leave us alone. As the squall starts to weaken somewhat, and it's almost as if we can hear the sounds of songs coming from somewhere beneath the waves.
Mm-hmm. One of them sounds very familiar
To you, perhaps.
to Cormac.
And perhaps some voices sound familiar to me as well.
Sawyer, Moira, and Selkie. We're like looking down over the town. We're on a quay. We're like up above. And like, we need to, and we just see the huge Trident industry boat down there. And I clutch the pelt. We need to, the question we need to answer is, can we use Selkie, can we control Selkie to land a blow against the pursuer? To that end, so I say, Moira, we need to, she'll listen to you. She likes you. We should, you know what? Wait, she's not going to like this, but I think, like, you know how we both held the pelt and, like, she saved us?
Yeah.
I think we could, if we both hold the pelt and want it enough, she'll just destroy those guys. And I point down at the boat.
Sawyer, I need you to listen to what you just said. This is somebody that likes us, somebody that trusts us. If you think that we can make her do what we want by
It's
magic,
the only way to save her.
there is always a better way. Part
no,
of
this
being
is the
an
best
adult,
way.
part of being an adult is recognizing that sometimes the hard choices are the ones you need to make.
Oh, responsibility.
But
Now-
you need to understand that it's only with her powers that we're going to be able to take these guys out. There's so many of them. There's only what, 5 of us?
I
You know that,
agree.
like you're right. Like we need a good plan, and I think this is it. I think we got to use her. I know she's not going to like it, and maybe we can ask her if it's okay.
I think that's what we should start with. You know, using people's wrong. And maybe if this is part of her power, maybe if we give it back to her, she'll help us because we've been kind to her. You know, that's the kind of person that Mom and Dad would want us to be, Sawyer.
Okay, so we go up to Selkie. Listen, if I give you this back, will you use your superpowers to destroy that boat?
And she looks kind of, again, cocks her head either way, and she just, it is not to me to end more life. This is a great deal that you ask me.
I know. I'm sorry. And everything that you've done has been so good and nice to us. But these people, they're destroying our town. They're trying to hurt you. And we don't have the power to fight back. And I think, you know, that's making us look for answers in the wrong places. But you're the only answer that we have. So please, can you help us? Or your sisters, can they help us, please?
All right, so
All
now
right.
this is when we're gonna roll. This is gonna be a tough one.
What do you got?
In this whole discussion, like Sawyer sees that she's not gonna do it, and he like tries to force his will through this thing, and her eyes spark, and it doesn't manifest, it doesn't happen, but it's enough that she, frightened, runs away from runs from us.
Absolutely.
Yep. Selkie, come back.
Yeah, no, Moira is definitely running after her.
Yep. And that leads us into our next scene.
Yeah. Whew. I want Bailey in this scene with me because I think that we're running.
it.
We're running. I'm like following her down to the east end, like down in that direction. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull that in. Yeah, it's already over there.
Will danger capture secret? Is that the
Pursuer.
will pursuer capture secret? Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's
Is that Dr. Gilmore?
Yeah,
All right.
I think that's where we're at.
Cool. So you're following Selkie to the eastern.
Yeah.
I'm already there. I'm sort of walking back from where I guess I was let off, sort of off the boat.
Yeah, I think you actually probably see her first.
Yeah, I do.
She's little, but she's fast.
Selkie?
No.
Selkie, please stop. Please listen.
Selkie, I talked to your sisters.
Huh? She stops mid-run. My sisters.
I
So we
think
hear,
I.
"Whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yeah.
whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yeah.
whoop, whoop, whoop."
Oh, it's a helicopter.
I think at
It's
this
one,
point,
it's one of those hydrocopters that can land in the ocean.
At this point, Moira comes running up and goes,
And
Moira? Selkie, why are you running from Moira?
And she pulls out her inhaler and Selkie, please stop, please. Please look, see, they're coming for you. Please, you have to.
That's a Trident ship. I mean, craft, helicopter, chopper, whirlybird.
I'm so sorry.
and she looks just basically like a deer caught in 3 sets of headlights.
Oh shit!
You know,
Black
kind of
cord comes out of the helicopter.
Ah! They're coming! We gotta run!
And she looks very meaningfully at Moira, and I think at that point we need to roll.
Boom, Selkie.
Nice. How does
that
the
resolve?
scene resolve?
I think it's still Natasha
Ah,
in the
she's like
wetsuit
Yes!
coming
She's
down
coming down the cord.
with the harpoon gun.
Yeah, with the harpoon gun,
Yeah.
of course.
Kind of coming down, and you would see Dr. Gilman kind of standing, lab coat like flaring in the helicopter wind, holding onto the strap. Moira just kind of like steps forward to Selkie, and she's still like, "Please, I would never do anything to hurt you. Please, you have to believe me. Before you came here, all I wanted to do was get off of this godforsaken rock, and now I feel like maybe I have a reason to stay, and like there's something more out there for me. Please come with me."
And Selkie finally kind of, without even paying attention to the chopper, just, sprints forward and embraces Moira. Only then the immediacy of the danger catches her attention, and she grabs Moira's hand and runs.
But you have no asthma as you run.
Whoa! And see.
And scene. Can an additional sacrifice be made to further abate the danger? The danger is definitely the focus.
Danger, Will Robinson.
The character that's missing is, I think we need to get Sawyer back in the action. You get a phone call, Sawyer.
Landline.
Landline. Ba-ding.
Rotary phone.
When is this? Is this a few days after our last scenes?
Yeah.
or-
I think it's a couple of days after, and Sawyer gets another phone call.
He says, Sawyer, I think I've figured out a way to help somehow. I think that everything that is leading to this point, and that I think that there might be only one way that we can stop Trident. And I think that I've grown so close to you and your sister and to Bailey. And I want you to know that whatever I have is yours. Yours, Bailey's, Moira's. I want you to have the ferry, and I want you to remember me, because I will always remember you. And I think it has to be this way.
What are you talking about?
I think that the sea does need a sacrifice. And I think that I've been riding this ship, ferrying other people to their destinations for too long. And I think it's time that I join her.
And with that, he hangs up the phone.
What? That's brutal. That's
so-
super brutal.
The kid, Sawyer's like, something's really wrong. Something's really wrong. He goes looking for Selkie. He goes looking for Moira. He's like looking for Bailey. Nobody's around, and he's just like, something's wrong. And he runs out of the house and just like books it down the beach, and is just like rushing through the town, running as fast as he can towards something.
And out on the Eastland, where the waves are the hardest, sitting on a inflatable raft that looks like it could barely hold up to a single gale, let alone a tempest, sits Cormac. He's looking out into the water, and he says, Dinah, are you there? Dinah, it's me. I've missed you for so long. I need you. I need your help. We all need your help. And I don't know, but whatever it is, it feels bigger than us. It feels bigger than this island. And I think I saw the way you helped Bailey and I knew it was you. And I need your help again. I need your help fixing whatever it is that these people have done. I need you to make it right with me. He's holding the picture of Dinah. He throws it out into the water, and he stands up on the raft.
It's time.
Arms out, and we roll. The way this resolves is smash cut to Sawyer running around, and finally makes it to Eastland and sees Cormac standing up, arms spread, standing on the edge of an inflatable raft that looks like it's about to pop, and out further than he's ever dared to even imagine going. Suddenly, he sees Cormac fall forward and disappear under the waves.
So now it's time to
Never
resolve the
tempt fate.
conflict. So we've pooled all our die. We have a few die from the secret going against the wrath, and everybody kind of up against the pursuer. So we'll do a roll off, know where things land, table talk about what that means, and then go around about like what it also means to each character. The danger is stopped, but there are recurrent hints that it may not be completely gone.
Ooh.
So that's where we're at with that.
So
9.
beat it by 4.
By 4. The pursuer ties or loses by 1 to 4. The pursuer fails at its goal, and the secret disappears during the confrontation.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's determine how this resolves. What do you guys think? Why don't we start? We'll kind of start in order if you want to kick us off.
Okay. So I think what happens is that the sacrifice of Cormac, his memory and his quells the danger somewhat. But what really happens is, suddenly I'm sure that Trident is like still following everyone, still kind of trying to keep on top of Moira. And Sawyer.
This is when the submarine comes out.
Yes, it does.
What was that?
And Cormac's
gasping on.
Yes.
The Trident submarine emerges from the sea, and Gilman pops out the top, and he's all, "They're here, I know it."
They're here, I know it.
What ends up happening, though, is suddenly there's kind of like a rock to the hull. And it feels like there's some sort of pressure or some sort of like movement under the hull of this undersea boot, this submarine. And suddenly small rents begin happening in the hull, and like nobody really sees what's going on inside. But if they looked outside, they'd see all these seals and all of these kind of this eddying water kind of pulling and pushing and, moving back and forth the submarine.
Yeah, and that's when the whoop, 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 whoop,
Yep.
whoop, 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 whoop of the helicopter swoops in, and what was her name?
Natasha.
Natasha grabs Theodore Gilman
Yep.
up out of the water and pulls him away towards the land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the submarine is being crushed. I think we're hearing lots of sounds of singing, almost like a lot of that going on.
Right.
A lot
Seals
of sea
carry
creatures.
Cormac to the shore where
Yes.
Sawyer's waiting.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe just one seal.
Oh.
And Bailey's there as well. I think Bailey.
They Sawyer and Cormac kind of work their way back inland, and that following this helicopter that's going in, and Bailey
I think we
sees the copter too.
Yeah, I think we find Bailey where he's sort of in the dunes near the Easton, and he's just sort of you know what I think it is? I think he's actually building 2 crosses out of driftwood and pounding them into a dune. He's sort of saying goodbye to his parents, and as he does, he feels like the pressure that had been building around the island start to dissipate more and more. As he looks over and sees Selkie sort of walking into the sea, she's making the same sort of sounds as the creatures that are destroying the submarine.
Yeah, I think that's when whoop, 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 the helicopter descends and swoops down on her. You're there, Moira, as well. That's everyone's converging in one spot now. This is the showdown. So we're on.
I'm running towards.
It's on the beach.
Or rather,
we kind of
Bailey
catch you in the dunes, and
Bailey's in
we're
the
all
dunes.
rushing towards it, and we come upon you standing in front of between Selkie and Gilman.
Yeah, definitely.
She's with the seat to your back and to her back as we come up, and I've got the pelt out, and we're this is it. The Natasha's standing there beneath the helicopter, and this is the scene.
Yeah, I think Gilman kind of hops down from the helicopter and just kind of strides forward again, lab coat billowing. He says, "I think that you can see this is futile. There's nothing to be what?" And I think that he we hear one last loud thwack from where Bailey is up on the hill, and he kind of Bailey has tied this weird knot to hold the cross together, and Gilman kind of sees it and is kind of the bane of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And and is like kind of like visibly repelled from this
from the crosses,
site.
from the symbol.
Yeah, it's not so much the crosses as like, and there's like a weird like you like found a shell and like kind of put it in there.
Yes, I did.
Just like
Lots of sea stuff.
Yeah.
My parents were of the sea.
yeah. Natasha is also kind of like having this weird like interference kind of reaction. For her part, Moira kind of like walks up very indignantly and goes, "You asshole! You have got to leave our town and never come back."
And Bailey walks up. Yeah, get a new job.
Yeah. And while everyone's sort of mobbing them, like Sawyer's just watching, and that's when Selkie puts a hand on his shoulder and takes the pelt from him. And
I think at that point, like, there's still a little bit of a storm overhead, and it kind of like coalesces around the helicopter that's still kind of like hovering above the beach. And, you know, Natasha and Gilman are still kind of like hovering near the rope, and just a giant bolt of lightning down onto the helicopter and like fries the helicopter, fries Natasha holding on to the line. And her harpoon gun, which was in her hand, kind of like goes all
off.
like her hand like clutches it instinctually, like, you know, as you do when you're shocked, and the harpoon just goes right through Gilman's leg.
And he bleeds blue blood.
Indeed he does, before he starts also electroshock convulsing.
Oh my gosh.
It smells like,
Fish?
I was going to say the Clam Chowder Festival.
Clam Chowder Festival. It smells like Clam Chowder Festival.
that's too when Cormac like tackles everyone, and a wave actually crashes over us, and the helicopter explodes, and we're washed away from there, and concussed a little bit by this blast, and all sort of like are washed onto a nearby in another cove in a nearby area, and we kind of awaken alone with no Selkie.
No Selkie, no Trident Industries, but no Wrath of God, Wrath of the Sea.
For now.
For now.
So now we go ahead and sort of go through our individual scenes. What happens to our characters? Like
Cormac, he sits alone in his boat for a very long time, and then he goes back to the shore of the Eastland, and he's looking out at the water. And he sees somebody kind of waiting for him up there. And it's kind of a very slight figure, also petite, powerful legs, broad feet, a little older. And you hear, "I brought you one too." And she holds up a leathery kind of pelt. And that's the end for Cormac.
Ooh. Bailey Tanwell leaves Schaefer's Landing to tour the country's coasts as an amazing lifeguard. He finds a powerful and fulfilling calling through being a lifeguard, saving people from the sea, always being near the sea, whatever coast, whatever country, wherever he's working, he finds solace in being by the sea, honors his parents' loss, as well as secretly making appropriations to never be killed by the sea. He feels like he somehow got off right or lucky and doesn't want that to go bad ever.
we're in a like coffee bookshop in the middle of the day, and it's sky's gray outside. Two Princes is playing in the loudspeaker, and a kid runs up with a book and puts it down on the table, and they're signing his book as S. Payne.
Yeah.
With his YA novel, like young cryptozoologist. And stories of
adventure.
of a boy adventurer, and this little kid is getting him to sign it, and there's a sort of a crack of lightning, and rain starts pelting the windows, and he looks out wistfully. His early male pattern ball.
Nice.
Moira works on the ferry for a couple years, until she's old enough and has saved up enough to go to college on the mainland. And every time that she's, on the boat doing the checks, she spends a little bit too long looking down into the water, looking for something. But every year she spends a little bit less time looking. And she goes off to college, and she gets a very useless degree in mythology. And she moves to a big city and finds people who are willing to listen to some stories. She she dates a girl in a punk band for a little while, which is good for her. Every year she comes back home. She probably comes back home even more than Sawyer.
For the Chowder Festival.
Obviously for the Chowder Festival, and actually she comes back and their mom dies after a little while, just too many years of hard work. She helps her dad with the Chowder Festival. Eventually, I think Moira becomes a teacher.
Ooh, awesome. On the island?
No, but sometimes she'll come and like she works at a summer camp on the island sometimes, like during college. Elsewhere, in a place that will be accepting of her.
With that, our story ends. We will return again with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho, and you can find me on Instagram at board_ghost. And you can find my other podcast, a rate and review media podcast, at newtoshow.com. Ken, where can people find you?
Board Ghosts, find me at berlingsbeard.com, BERLINGS Beard. That's my website. You'll find all my projects there, my streaming, all the other teaching, all the D&Ds, all the things that I'm doing. Check me out. And definitely, if you see me around or online, say hi. I would love to chat.
All right, Zach, where can people find you?
You can find my user experience design work as well as any other projects that I do at cmichaelnorton.com.
All right. And you've stated prior that you are unfindable.
No, I'm not worth finding.
Oh.
No, I don't.
That's objectively not true.
I literally never post anything, so it's not worth your time. But if you ever do see me, please
Well,
do
you
say
can
hi.
hear her by listening to both these episodes again.
Yes.
And when we have her back with Zach as well, then...
You guys were great. Thank you both
Yeah,
for coming
thanks
on.
again.
Thanks for
really,
having us,
really
guys.
great
Thanks so
to have
much.
you guys on both the episodes. Thank you.
This is great.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So to learn more about the players and the engine in our story, please visit boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Leave reviews and comments on iTunes, your preferred listening portal, and please take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying don't agree with me.